What's up, Craig?
Now recording.
The following podcast may have adult humor,
Swear words.
innuendos of a adult nature.
Making fun of me.
That's a given. Everybody looks forward to that. But just know that you have been warned. Hey, Jesse and everybody else. We are back with another Blind Nights podcast, and of course you know why.
You didn't let me say hey. You just kept on talking.
Well,
Usually
I figured you
say,
were
"Hey,
going to
Jess."
interrupt me.
No, I'm trying to turn up. See, Katie is doing this thing, which you know the reason. I'm not gonna obviously say it here, but 2023 is the new me. She said, like as in her, and I'm trying to steal that and say 2023 is going to be the new me. I'm going to try to interrupt you less, among other things.
I do believe like 75 or 80% of New Year's resolutions are broken within the first month.
Yeah.
I bet it takes 1 week for you.
The only one I've kept was, and it didn't obviously go into, it wasn't because of New Year's, but I stuck on it. Originally losing weight when I had the diabetes and everything kind of played into, I was still going at New Year's. So that one I finally kept. Because that was a hard one for me. Because I would be lazy and not exercise.
Yeah, I bet it gets broke within at least the first 2 recordings.
Now I have to do it just to spite you.
Hey, if it works, it works. That's
James.
all I got to say.
So it's cold as shit here. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Can't complain. Time to get into the library though and warm up with a good book. The Night to the Braille Library.
Today I'm going to give you the second book in the Stormlight Archive series by Brandon Sanderson. It's called Words of Radiance. I'm not going to spoil it because, you have to have read book 1. This is a massive tome. It's like, I could be wrong. I know I don't have the number right, but it's in the vicinity of like 1,500 pages. And I was just saying to Richard before we recorded that I always feel like winter is fantasy time. I don't know why. Like, I'll read other things throughout the year, but like I want to catch up on my massive series. And I'm in Words of Radiance, for instance, I think I'm 3 books behind after I finish this one. And I don't want to pick up another fantasy book for a while after this, because that's like 3 standard fantasy books probably, or 4 depending on how many pages. But it's good. Brandon Sanderson has this way of, his writing gets you right into the action, and he does all this world building and things like that, but it never feels like it's an info dump. Like you're like, oh, this chapter just tells me all these things I need to know. Even in the first book, like you learn things very organically. Nothing is, it's not like, oh, chapter 5 is a lesson. I'm going to learn all about the magic system. I'm going to learn all about the history. Like, you learn things bit by bit as you read. And I really enjoy that. Like, it's a giant book, but it's never boring. There's never like a lull in it where you're like, oh, you could cut 500 pages of this out. Like, I always feel engrossed the whole way. So this is a definite 4.5 stars.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I don't read Brandon Sanderson is because his books are.
I think you would like them, though.
I probably would, but you know what else I'd like? Them to be a lot shorter. No, well, that too, but I would like them to be a lot shorter. A lot of times for me, looking at something like that, the length of it puts me off. I mean, it may be my favorite book ever if I was to read it, but it's like, no. Now, like, if Stephen King puts one out that's, 45 hours or whatever, or if it's a series that I'm already into.
You know that you can cut half of the Stephen King book out and still have the same story.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm going to read it anyway because
yes, you're right.
Favorite author, and it's a series. It'd be a series that I was into, but that's just me. People may think that's crazy or stupid. I don't care. But mine is actually a book that I did not finish reading. I got through about a third of it and was like, no.
You're recommending a book that you didn't finish, like that you didn't like?
Yes, I'm recommending not to get it.
Oh, okay. That's good.
I've done this once before on the podcast.
You did, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, wait, it was, shit, I can't remember the guy's name. Anyway, it was a fantasy book.
Yes. It was J.T. Williams as the author.
That's right.
And
I was thinking it's an author that's always recommended to me on Facebook through ads.
Yeah, pretty much any of his stuff, I think. But the book is by an author that I really like. He does the Noobtown books. His name is Ryan Rimmel. And he also wrote this book with Bo Hagen, or Hagen. Not really sure how you're supposed to say that, but
sounds like really a jobber from the 80s.
Yeah. His first name, or her first name, I don't know, is spelled differently, and I really like the way it's spelled, Boe.
I've never seen that.
I haven't either, which I really like that.
Yeah, that is kind of cool.
But the book is called Deep Water Dungeon. Now,
the title sounds cool.
It does, and I remember reading it whenever I got the notification from Audible. Available for pre-order from an author you follow. Well,
yes.
I've never followed any of the authors on Audible.
I think it's just who you purchased from before.
It is, but I wish they did have a follow, author button.
Yeah.
I've never found one anyway.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hear you continuously interrupting me.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
No, I hit a button and I thought I muted myself. Okay.
Everybody, I think Jesse's had a lot of caffeine this morning.
I've had 2 sips.
He's just.
But it is Mountain Dew, so.
He is actually very hyper this morning. So yeah.
Just in a good mood.
Yeah, it's the weather. But so I was kind of put off a little bit by the what do you call it, author summary.
Yep.
We're talking about a crab turns into a sentient being, which hey, that'd be kind of cool. But it was like everybody's a crab. That's the main part of the book. And the crab's name, he was given the name by this little girl whose name I think was Erica. Yeah, Erica, who's a noble person. But the crab's name was like Sir Krabby McCrabbington.
That's kind of stupid, but
yeah.
I feel like if we created it, it would be hysterical. Like in a campaign or something.
Well, and the reason that I went ahead, there's 2 reasons that I got the book. One, I really like Ryan Rimmel. But it said it was a funny take on the lit RPG genre,
I saw that.
Which he kind of does with Noobtown. So I thought, this will be really good. I kept reading it, and I was, okay, that's really stupid. And then there was one part in it where the crab, the main character, the main character, whatever, killed this Dungeness crab and then ate it because he was hungry. I'm like, okay, that's cannibalism. Okay, and it was like the character kept whining, and every time he did something, it seemed to me anyway that it updated the character sheet, so therefore they read the character sheet. And it's like, no, I'm done with this.
Does Noobtown do that? I haven't read enough in it to see.
No, not to this extent, anyway. But that is a fantastic series, and yes. I can't wait for the next one. So, of course, I returned it to Audible and said, I want my credit back.
Yep.
Yeah, and
did you get anything with it?
No, I got 7 credits to spend, sir.
Oh. Must be like,
I know, it drives you crazy, don't it?
It does, because I use mine the day of. I always want to take part in those sales for the
you spend your credits
sales
too fast.
Well, I mean the one where I got an email, pay this, buy 2 credits and get 3, and it's like I give Audible enough actual money that I don't want to do it.
I see. I love when the sales come in, especially like at the end of summer, and I think they
Yeah, I
usually
did
do a
take part in
Black
that.
Friday. It's like books are like $17. It's like I can wait for that sale, buy them all up, for like $40, the ones that I want, and save credits on them, like I did with the
Yeah,
Lord of the Rings books, where I got them all for like $20. You know, whereas it would have been like 4 credits for all of them if
right.
I had to use credits. And that's
There
just the
aren't
way
really
that
any
I
books
do
on
it.
Audible anymore that are like more than one credit, are there? It doesn't seem like it. There used to be back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, follow like a series,
I
it's the
mean,
best
like
way to
a
do it.
book
Yeah,
would be like 2 credits for because it was so long.
yeah, I wouldn't get it.
No, but
Probably
I
all
remember it used to be
brandishing.
a thing.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just one of them things. That's just the way that I am. I guess I could give you a good one,
Yeah, have you
but
read anything good lately? Just out of
um,
curiosity.
currently, well, yeah, I finished up the Critical Failure series, or not series, but the books that I had. I really like those. A lot of fun, real funny. But I think I may have mentioned those last week.
You did.
Um, Currently reading. I think his last name is Kejiao. Kejiao. It's a series called Underverse. I'm reading book 3 right now, and I love this series.
Oh, that's good.
His first name is Jez, and I think his last name is pronounced Kejiao or something along those lines. We all know who are visually impaired how
Yeah.
screenreader says it and how it's actually supposed to be
For
pronounced.
years, I thought anime was pronounced anime.
I know. You'd ask somebody like, "Hey, you watch any anime?"
I just wanna make love to you. Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Joey B. I am the founder of Blind Knowledge. BlindKnowledge.com is where it's at. Podcasts, streamers, gamers, music. We got content. It's real. It's truthful. It's dope. Check it out, man. BlindKnowledge.com. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
The creature feature.
Oh boy.
Ooh, this one's big. Are
They've
you
all
ready
been
for it?
kind of. You mean big in size or big
It
in
has
like?
the potential to be big in size
Okay.
as well. Could you imagine did anybody ever describe to you the size of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from
I always
Ghostbusters?
thought he was like Godzilla size.
Yeah. That's a good size comparison. Could you imagine a creature made of sludge and slime being that big
Ew.
or bigger?
Ew.
It has the potential. But let me tell you about the Juiblex.
Let me tell you, Daddy. That's. It
uh,
sounded like you were slipping into that voice a little bit.
I could, baby. Let me tell you about that Juiblex. How I suplex them and put him down for the cow, baby, because I am the American
You're
dream.
going to the pay window, right?
Yes, baby. I go into the pay window because I got lots of honeys that need some money, if you know what I mean.
So
Uh,
prostitutes.
but the Juiblex, which is spelled Juiblex, because there was no monster in the book that I'm going through that started with an I. So up to J, the
That's
Juiblex.
weird, huh?
Yeah. It has some actual nicknames, which is one of the first times that I've seen that with a
Call it
monster.
sludgy.
No, it's called the Faceless Lord.
I figured
Or,
when I said that you were going to be like, no, sit down.
nah, it's getting to that point where you might get muted. Uh, another nickname for the Jubilex is the Oozing Hunger. Everything that it
Cool ass name.
eats, oh yes, it is. Everything that this thing eats and consumes helped it to grow even larger. It could also have the nickname of this, which I would use, but it's actually part of the description. The Demon Lord of Slime and Ooze. mean, that's just,
Yeah, I
it
think I would
just
use that too.
sounds really, really cool. For a generalized description of this creature, it's green and black, but it has red eyes that move and shift around inside of it.
Yeah.
It is a huge fiend, or some people may say find.
Oh, you're very British.
It is
Sword.
chaotic evil with an armor class rating of 18.
Oh, that's chunky.
350 average hit points. Yeah, you heard me right. 350.
All I can think is, God, that would be a long battle to play out.
It could be, depending on what
Unless
level
he just
you
slaughters
are.
the party.
Yeah. Is resistant to cold, fire, and lightning. And as we all know, that means you take half damage.
Yep.
It can speak any language. And I'm assuming that comes from, having consumed probably every kind of creature that there is.
Yeah.
It can also speak telepathically up to 120 feet. That's pretty good distance.
Yeah, it is.
It has a challenge rating of 23.
Is that the highest?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
I believe, unless I'm mistaken, I believe
I feel
the
like that-
Tarrasque is the highest.
I feel like that's the highest we've done on this segment so far, though.
Yeah, we definitely broke a record with this one, but I'm not finished yet, Jesse. Because I'm fixing to break that record again, because if you face this thing in its own layer, it then has a challenge rating of 24. Yeah, and that's pretty awesome. I mean, pretty a pretty stiff battle. And if anything starts its turn within 10 feet of this Juiblex, they have to make a Constitution saving throw with a DC of 21.
Oh, I'd be dead because I always go in melee.
If they fail this DC save, they are poisoned. And you think this thing's bad enough? Should I stop here?
I feel like its actions are going to be just worse.
I'm not even to the actions yet. At the beginning of its turn, the Juiblex's turn, it regains 20 hit points.
See, I hate that.
Oh,
Like,
see,
I
I
hate
love
facing
that
them
as a
like that.
monster.
I mean, facing it.
Oh, yeah. Because, it's constant battle over and over and over. Now, if it takes, like, fire or radiant damage, that will, stop that regeneration power. And should I stop here? Should I keep going?
Keep going.
You want to keep going? How about this huge thing can climb walls and ceilings like a spider
Oh,
without having to make a check? It can just the game master can say it begins to climbing up the wall
that's creepy.
and does not have to make a check. It does get 3 attacks, which honestly, in my opinion, Jesse, are kind of underwhelming for this creature.
See, I figured they would be like insane.
To me, it's a little underwhelming because it uses an acid lash, kind of like a whip, It gets a plus 14 to hit, which is rather crazy when you're thinking about it. But then again, we're usually, thinking like 3rd, 4th, or 5th level characters, so
it's going to hit pretty much every number almost.
Yeah, I mean it has that potential unless you have like some amazing magical armor. But like I said, the lashes to me are just a little underwhelming. They can reach out anywhere from 10 to 60 feet away, or they can be, excuse me, I read that wrong. I apologize. 10 feet away or 60 to 120 feet away. They will cause an average of 21 acid damage.
I don't think that's underwhelming. What makes you think it is?
Let me get through the rest of this and then
Oh, okay.
I'll
Okay.
explain. Any creature killed by this acid lash is drawn into the Juiblex's
I like that.
body.
Because, like, just say
Where
one of your party members died, you could, like, their face could be staring at you as you still fight this thing.
very true, and you have a minute to get your party member out, or they because the body is consumed after 1 minute. What I find underwhelming here, I mean, I love the 10-foot distance or the 60 to 120-foot distance, but that's really the only attack it has. I mean, it has a couple of magical things that I'm not gonna list, but I would like it to be able to, and it can
a little
shoot.
more.
Yeah, it can shoot slime up to 60 feet away, but I kind of wish that it could maybe split itself in half, or
Yeah, that would be cool. Well, you could always modify it.
well, yeah, you could, but I think that'd be kind of interesting, and I know you'd have to go in there and change a few things, like if it changed itself or split itself into 3 different beings, it would, you'd chop the hit points into thirds, and
Maybe if, like, it gets down to a certain amount of hit points, it separates itself.
that would be a way that
It's like a
you could do it.
survival.
Yeah. But like I said, maybe the eyes would do something like a mesmerizing thing to draw you into it, because you can see the red eyes inside of it. But I mean, it is what it is. I'd like to face one, raw rules as written. But the shooting the slime factor, you can shoot up to 60 feet, and the person must make a dexterity save of 21. And that'd be kind of high. I mean, although I've known people who at 5th level who can, succeed that. But if you fail this,
especially if you're a ranger with great deck,
or rogue,
yeah,
but if you fail this save, you take 55 points of acid damage. That's brutal. It's brutal. And this is a really cool thing here. The description in it says that it's permanent, but and here are the permanent aspects to taking this acid damage. If your weapons or armor are metal, the weapons will take a permanent -1 to their attack damage, and your armor will take a permanent -1 to its armor class. They can take up to a -5 for both of them, at which point they are completely destroyed. Now, here's the problem that I have with this description: that if you have the mending spell, you can fix these quote unquote permanent damages.
See, that would annoy me too, just because of the wording.
Right.
Permanent.
And it's like, me, if I was running it, no. Yeah, because it's permanent. Permanent. If it's not going to be permanent, don't even put it in there that it is. And with mending, I think I'd have to look it up because I can't remember right off the top of my head. But you have to, have both parts, and it's up to like an inch or something like that, to be able to put it back together. Well, if acid destroys something, it's not there anymore. So how can you put that back together? But that's that'd be up to the game master, however they wanted to do
Yep.
it. You know,
Check out these friends of Knights of the Braille.
Hello, I'm Quinn,
And I'm Alex.
and we're
A couple of characters.
We discuss topics related to creating characters for role-playing games,
We talk about fun characters we've created.
and give advice about how to make your own quirky characters.
Check us out every other week, wherever podcasts are found.
Welcome to Termonology Tidbits.
this week's word of the week is death spiral, and it really fits since we just came across that creature, the Juiblex. Have you
I
ever
do not know what this is.
really?
No.
I think you will once I describe
Okay,
it.
maybe just not that
it.
word.
Yeah. A death spiral is where a player takes damage and suffers other ill effects, which causes that same player to take more damage, which compounds with more ill effects, which makes them take more damage.
Okay.
It's
Yep.
basically a snowball effect.
Okay.
And the big point of it is where it makes it likely that the player's character will end in a death. So you did know what it was, just never heard.
Yes. Right.
That's good. Then maybe we can educate us
Edumacate.
exactly.
Sword.
Yeah, with some people, but that's okay. That's okay. But have you ever been in a death spiral? Or...
No. I'm trying to think if I've ever been around. No, I've never really even seen one in a campaign or anything. Like, I know it exists, but I've never come across it.
Right. I mean, it could be like having just a matter of moments, You're kind of like hitting your jugular, I guess, or something along those lines. But yeah, let me
Getting your throat slit.
Oh yeah, causing psychic pain, and which causes a nose, and then causes you to bleed to death. But
Welcome to the Physical Table with Richard.
we actually did get to have a session this past Thursday night. We don't have any for the next two because of Thanksgiving and other things that have happened. But we're still in the town, and it's a good amount of people in this group. I can't remember now off the top of my head, like 7, 8, something like that, maybe a few more. So you don't get a whole lot of time when it's your turn, but everybody does get time, so that's good. And some people will say, well, I'm following them, that's really about it, yada yada yada. Anyway, my character heard a rumor about a magical weapon, and also heard that the hag that we're hunting is at the blacksmith shop. Well, me being a dwarf and wanting that weapon, I head towards the blacksmith shop. And my little partner in crime, I guess, be a good way to describe him, follows me. He's a little halfling rogue, so he can break into stuff. Well, we break in. It's broad daylight, and we're breaking in, which made us both laugh because of one of the bench warmers where he goes, "You scratched my CD in broad daylight." Anyway, we break in. A couple of people see us. One of our other partners sees us and follows us. Well, we get in, look around, don't see a whole lot, but then we find a trap door. And neither one of us has detect magic. And Quindale, who's my little partner, he looks around. He doesn't see any trap, so we tie a rope to the handle, and then throw it up over a beam to open it up so we can be out of the way. You know, well, it opens up. There's no traps. There's just darkness down below. And I have dark vision, and it's still dark. You know, it doesn't illuminate a whole lot. Well, our partner comes in, and she has a pet mouse that she's had since she was a kid. And I say, give me the mouse. Why? I'm going to throw him down there and see if he sets off a trap. And she's like, no, it could kill him. I thought, oh, it's just a mouse. We'll get you another mouse, you know. But anyway, one of the other group members comes in, and they have detect magic. And he casts it, and of course, there's a magical trap there, you know, that alerts whoever said it that it has been broken, you know. And of course they're alerted, and everybody's coming now, and everybody's basically saying, oh, well, you don't need to go down there, you don't need to go down there. And they're just watching. So I'm going to ask you, what do you think my character did?
He went down there.
Oh, yes. Yes, he did. And that's where, you know, we left it all with my character heading down there. So as soon as we meet up again, we'll find out what's going on. But it's like I was telling them, man. Me personally, as Richard, I cannot stand inactivity. You know, I can't stand it. I mean, like I'm sitting here recording this with you, and while we're being active and talking, I mean, my legs bouncing. You know, it's like I've got to be moving. But so I build that into my characters as well. That, you know, going to be doing something. I mean, you've met Aurelio. Did he ever find anything that he wouldn't fight or go up against? You know,
your dwarves are all the same, and I mean that in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, they're all active.
Like your dwarf for tomorrow will probably be the same way.
Very much likely, you know. And speaking of that, I want to try something a little different, some dungeon crawling. But I'm going to be running the game as well as playing a character in the game. I'm going to see how interesting that is, and I think it's going to be pretty interesting.
I would think it would be too, but
so
because God knows, every time I run, I want to I have to make NPCs because I want to interact with you guys.
This episode is brought to you by the Knights of the Braille and is made possible through the support of viewers such as you. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to get all of the latest information and episodes. Thank you.